An unidentified flying object, or UFO, in its most general definition, is any apparent anomaly in the sky that is not identifiable as a known object or phenomenon. Culturally, UFOs are associated with claims of visitation by extraterrestrial life or government-related conspiracy theories, and have become popular subjects in fiction. While UFOs are often later identified, sometimes identification may not be possible owing to the usually low quality of evidence related to UFO sightings. Stories of fantastical celestial apparitions have been told since antiquity, but the term UFO was officially created in 1953 by the United States Air Force to serve as a catch-all for all such reports. In its initial definition, the USAF stated that a UFO was any airborne object which by performance, aerodynamic characteristics, or unusual features does not conform to any presently known aircraft or missile type, or which cannot be positively identified as a familiar object. Quote, accordingly, the term was initially restricted to that fraction of cases which remained unidentified after investigation, as the USAF was interested in potential national security reasons and/or technical aspects. During the late 1940s and through the 1950s, UFOs were often referred to popularly as flying saucers or flying discs. The term UFO became more widespread during the 1950s, at first in technical literature, but later in popular use. UFOs garnered considerable interest during the Cold War, an era associated with a heightened concern for national security. Various studies have concluded that the phenomenon does not represent a threat to national security, nor does it contain anything worthy of scientific pursuit. Terminology. The Oxford English Dictionary defines a UFO as an unidentified flying object, a flying saucer. The first published book to use the word was authored by Donald E. Kehoe. The acronym UFO was coined by Captain Edward J. Ruppelt, who headed Project Blue Book, then the USAF's official investigation of UFOs. He wrote, obviously the term flying saucer is misleading when applied to objects of every conceivable shape and performance. For this reason the military prefers the more general, if less colorful, name, unidentified flying objects. UFO for short. Quote, other phrases that were used officially and that predate the UFO acronym include flying flapjack, flying disc, unexplained flying discs, unidentifiable object, and flying saucer. The phrase flying saucer had gained widespread attention after the summer of 1947. On June 24, a civilian pilot named Kenneth Arnold reported seeing 9 objects flying in formation near Mount Rainier. Arnold timed the sighting and estimated the speed of discs to be over 1,200 miles per hour. At the time, he described the object's shape as being somewhat disc-like or saucer-like, leading to newspaper accounts of flying saucers and flying discs. In popular usage, the term UFO came to be used to refer to claims of alien spacecraft, and because of the public and media ridicule associated with the topic, some investigators prefer to use such terms as unidentified aerial phenomenon or anomalous phenomena, as in the title of the National Aviation Reporting Center on Anomalous Phenomena. Studies have established that the majority of UFO observations are misidentified conventional objects and natural phenomena, most commonly aircraft, balloons, noctilucent clouds, nacreous clouds, or astronomical objects such as meteors or bright planets, with a small percentage even being hoaxes. Between 5% and 20% of reported sightings are not explained, and therefore can be classified as unidentified in the strictest sense, while proponents of the extraterrestrial hypothesis suggest that these unexplained reports are of alien spacecraft. The null hypothesis cannot be excluded that these reports are simply other more prosaic phenomena that cannot be identified due to lack of complete information or due to the necessary subjectivity of the reports. While UFOs have been the subject of extensive investigation by various governments, and although a few scientists have supported the extraterrestrial hypothesis, almost no scientific papers about UFOs have been published in peer-reviewed journals. There was, in the past, some debate in the scientific community about whether any scientific investigation into UFO sightings is warranted, with the general conclusion being that the phenomenon was not worthy of serious investigation beyond a cultural artifact. The void left by the lack of institutional scientific study has given rise to independent researchers and groups, including the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena in the mid-20th century and, more recently, the Mutual UFO Network and the Center for UFO Studies. The term ufology is used to describe the collective efforts of those who study reports and associated evidence of unidentified flying objects. UFOs have become a prevalent theme in modern culture, and the social phenomena have been the subject of academic research in sociology and psychology. Early history. Unexplained aerial observations have been reported throughout history. Some were undoubtedly astronomical in nature: comets, bright meteors, one or more of the 5 planets that can be seen with the naked eye, planetary conjunctions, or atmospheric optical phenomena such as parhelia and lenticular clouds. An example is Halley's Comet, which was recorded first by Chinese astronomers in 240 BC and possibly as early as 467 BC. Such sightings throughout history often were treated as supernatural portents, angels, or other religious omens. Some current-day UFO researchers have noticed similarities between some religious symbols in medieval paintings and UFO reports, though the canonical and symbolic character of such images is documented by art historians, placing more conventional religious interpretations on such images. On January 25, 1878, the Denison Daily News printed an article in which John Martin, a local farmer, had reported seeing a large, dark, circular object resembling a balloon flying at wonderful speed. Martin, according to the newspaper account, said it appeared to be about the size of a saucer. The first known use of the word saucer in association with a UFO. In April 1897, thousands of people reported seeing airships in various parts of the United States. Many signed affidavits. Scores of people even reported talking to the pilots. Thomas Edison was asked his opinion and said, "You can take it from me that it is a pure fake." On February 28, 1904, there was a sighting by 3 crew members on the US Supply 300 miles west of San Francisco, reported by Lieutenant Frank Schofield, later to become Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific Battle Fleet. Schofield wrote of 3 bright red egg-shaped and circular objects flying in echelon formation that approached beneath the cloud layer, then changed course and soared above the clouds, departing directly away from the Earth after 2 to 3 minutes. The largest had an apparent size of about 6 suns, he said. The 3 earliest known pilot UFO sightings, of 1,305 similar sightings catalogued by NARCAP, took place in 1916 and 1926. On January 31, 1916, a UK pilot near Rochford reported a row of lights, resembling lighted windows on a railway carriage, that rose and disappeared. In January 1926, a pilot reported 6 flying manhole covers between Wichita, Kansas, and Colorado Springs, Colorado. In late September 1926, an airmail pilot over Nevada said he had had been forced to land by a huge wingless, cylindrical object. On August 5, 1926, while traveling in the Humboldt Mountains of Tibet's Gokona region, Russian explorer Nicholas Roerich reported, members of his expedition saw something big and shiny reflecting the sun, like a huge oval moving at great speed. Crossing our camp, the thing changed in its direction from south to southwest, and we saw how it disappeared in the intense blue sky. We even had time to take our field glasses and saw quite distinctly an oval form with shiny surface, one side of which was brilliant from the sun. Another description by Roerich was of a shiny body flying from north to south. Field glasses are at hand. It is a huge body. One side glows in the sun. It is oval in shape. Then it somehow turns in another direction and disappears in the southwest. In the Pacific and European theaters during World War II, Foo Fighters were reported and on occasion photographed by Allied and Axis pilots. Some proposed Allied explanations at the time included Street Elmo's fire, the planet Venus, hallucinations from oxygen deprivation, or German secret weapons. In 1946, more than 2,000 reports were collected primarily by the Swedish military of unidentified aerial objects over the Scandinavian nations, along with isolated reports from France, Portugal, Italy and Greece. The objects were referred to as Russian hail, and later as ghost rockets, because it was thought that the mysterious objects were possibly Russian. Tests of captured German V-1 and V-2 rockets, although most were thought to be such natural phenomena as meteors. More than 200 were tracked on radar by the Swedish military and deemed to be real physical objects. In a 1948 top-secret document, Swedish authorities advised the USAF Europe that some of their investigators believed these craft to be extraterrestrial in origin.